It's 790 KABC, Change Reaction Radio, and the Change Reaction Radio podcast. You can learn all about the Change Reaction on our website, changereaction.org. I'm your host, Matt West. I'm joined by our beautiful co-host, the incredible Christina Pascucci, and Greg Perlman, the co-founder, actually the founder of the Change Reaction.
Co-founder with my wife.
Co-founder with your wife, Jody.
Who I have a girl crush on, by the way.
She's amazing, right?
She is the best.
Greg, do you think, would she, I mean, she's a talker. Would she come into the show at some point down the line?
Yeah, she would.
I'd love to have her.
Be amazing.
She's got the biggest heart in the entire city.
Well, it's debatable, you or her. It's not a competition.
I really want the Perlman family to adopt me. I don't know what I need to do to make this happen, and also their kids are amazing. And Brooke, who I can see standing outside of the studio right now, they all have hearts of giving, and it's just
Brooke,
they
you
really
looking
inspire.
for a sister? Are you looking? Yeah,
I know,
great.
please.
This is amazing. So we spent a lot of time in our last segment talking about the history of the Change Reaction. Greg, your inspiration for it, where it all started, and we kind of left off talking about the partnerships, the 200 some odd organizations around Southern California that you've created connections with, created a partnership with, and have found a way to support with your generosity. We wanted to bring somebody else in to talk a little bit about it from the other side. You're talking about it from the perspective of your heart and wanting to help. We're talking here with Auri Tuttle from ROC Era, one of the organizations that you formed one of these partnerships with. Auri, first of all, welcome to Change Reaction Radio.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting to be here in the first episode.
So great to have you here. I want to talk a little bit about your organization and its history and how you and the Change Reaction first connected to create change in your community.
Of course. So my name is Auri again. I am the founder and executive director for the nonprofit organization ROC Era. So ROC stands for Regardless of Color. Our mission is to enrich, empower, and invest in at-risk youth in vulnerable communities through arts, fitness, and mentorship. So this work to me is very personal. My why is that I grew up in a low-income community in California. I did not have a lot of resources. My mom was a single parent. My father was incarcerated my entire life. So, but I had mentors that came into my life and really showed me the world of possibilities. And so for me now, I want to do that for these kids. So when I look at these kids, I am them. I was them. So what we do is we come into some of the most underrepresented communities, and we're doing performing arts. We're doing fitness programs. We have a program called Girls Rock, which is an empowerment program for at-risk girls. We talk about affirmation, self-love, respecting their bodies. It's just something that I was blessed to have growing up, and now we together are making this impact.
And your co-founder is here
This
as
is my
well.
co-founder.
Hi, Jessica.
Right-hand man. Thanks for having us.
I want to ask you, Auri, a little bit about, and then I can't wait to hear more from Jessica, too, about where it all started, because I know you touched a lot on it. I was so moved hearing that this journey really started when you were 7 years old and musical arts came into your life. And these words that I read, that changed everything. I mean, you traveled the world.
I have. Because of those mentors, they saw me and they told me, regardless of where you live, regardless of the adversity that you're facing, you can do it. So I was able to travel the world as a performing musical theater actress for over a decade. And I experienced culture, and all because I had those people that came into my life and said, we see you. We see you and we love you. So so now I want to give that back to them. But to be able to travel the world, it changed my life. I don't think I'd be sitting here. I say that all the time. I would not be sitting here without the arts and without those people that saw me and believed in me.
And how do you and your co-founder Jessica meet?
We met at a protest through the center, Watts Empowerment Center, and we were loud and proud out there fighting for some kids on the front line. And she approached me and said, "Hey, I think we'd be cool to work in a school together. I have this program coming up this summer, and I think you'd be great for it." I had my camera out, and it was just history after that. We did a summer class together, and then very quickly just took off.
And how long have you guys been working together?
It's been about 4 years, almost 4 years.
Yeah, almost four
Since
years. That day.
Yeah, since
and so
that day.
you really had to bootstrap this whole operation from the start.
I did. And but again, Change Reaction has been when I say they have been there from day one. We founded in 2020, and that was just the beginning of us building connections in these communities. We work in Watts. Primarily Watts has been our area. And so we were introduced by an incredible partner and friend, Elof Altoma, who forever will be our advocate, and introduced us to Greg Perlman and the Change Reaction, and it changed our lives in so many ways.
There's such an evolution of the relationship because you've been working together for years. Greg was talking about you guys and just saying what rock stars you are, and I mean that's not a compliment taken lightly when it comes from Greg Perlman. You know, it says a lot. And so, how did that relationship start? Who were some of the kids who were being helped? And then we'll bring it back to today and the fire relief and that component of the relationship.
Sure. So we've had a partnership with Greg and Change Reaction for 3 years, and it's been incredible. Not only have we been able to bless every single ROC child in our program. So when I say prevented families from being evicted, helping with security deposits, supporting with, youth, anything that our youth needs. So to be able to say repairs,
healthcare.
Yeah. So be able to say that we have a program for your youth, but now here's the next level. We can now offer your family and their families immediate emergency grants has been such a blessing, because at first it was coming out of our pocket. Mm-hmm. If a child needs something, I'm going to give it to them. But now with this partnership, we're able to say, now we can go even that much farther with you and your family and wrap around your entire family.
So it started with mentorship.
Absolutely.
And youth advocacy.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of morphed into this thing where you're really filling in the gaps.
Exactly. It's a wraparound service. We
Precisely.
offer everything. But not only have they, Change Reaction, blessed our kids, they have blessed our nonprofit to the point of being able to be just as successful as we are.
Yeah, there's been many times that the Change Reaction has been a lifeline. And it cannot be overstated that we would not be where we are today without the Change Reaction.
Them.
So what does that look like when you need help?
Yeah.
And you need help helping people in your community, helping parents of kids, helping kids themselves. What does that look like? How does that conversation go between you and the Change Reaction and Greg?
Yeah. So again, I mentioned Elof Altoma. She was our connection to the Change Reaction at first. So we really would call her anytime we needed anything, and then she would go to the team and say, "Hey, this is what they're doing. This is what they need. Let's help."
And just to reiterate, Elof is our program manager now at the Change Reaction.
Yeah.
At first she wasn't. I think when she introduced ROC Era,
She was a change agent.
She was just out in the field, and then we brought her on. So she's been working with us now for 3 years.
She's incredible.
Incredible. So what was it like when you first met Auri? Like, what was the thing? Because, in the last segment, we talked about how you were really just inspired on your own, right? Giant heart, huge generosity, wanting to help and wanting to do things immediately. What was it about Auri when you guys first met and first became acquainted with ROC that you saw something where you really wanted to get in and wrap your arms around them?
For me, it's how much they care about their kids and how much they care about their community. Because here's the thing, when you're thinking about giving money away, is you just want to make sure it's the right person, right? You want to make sure it's the right story, because everybody needs money. I mean, 90% of the city needs money. So what happens is you got to find people that have your back, and that they care about their community. And these folks here, both of them, they care about their community, and they're bringing me people that I know those stories are. I know that family's a hardworking family and up against it. I don't have to question it when it comes from Auri, because she has the heart of gold. And so it's an easy yes to support all these folks in the community when they bring these situations to us. And I think we've helped probably at least a couple hundred families, if not 300 or 400, that have come through referrals from their organization. I don't think I've ever said no.
I don't think so. I really can't recall a time.
I mean, I read them, but I don't say no. You would think with the way I read these things, I'm like kind of saying no, yes, no, yes. It's 98% yes.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's true.
I'm curious, what is it that makes a Change Reaction different from your perspective of the different organizations you've worked with?
I think it's Greg. I think the people. I think it's the team. They see people. Like I mentioned, the mentors when I was growing up. There is no the red tape. There is no strings attached. That's the difference. And I think every time I see Greg in person, I say this. I say we need more Greg Perlmans. We need more people that truly see people for who they are and what they're going through. And there is no question. It's how can I see you? How can I help you? Yeah. And that's really, for me, that's my perspective on it. I'm just honored to say that I am a partner with such an incredible team and a founder.
I want to take us to January 7th, that horrific day for the city of Los Angeles that we will be reeling from for years to come. And that was when ROC Era went through another transformation, from what I understand, and your relationship with Change Reaction took it to another level. Can you take us through that?
Yes. So I always call myself a person of motion. You know, when something happens, I can't just sit back. I can't just sit back and say, well, I hope, things work out. So I looked at Jessica on the night of the fires and I said, what are we going to do? So the next day, I got in my car and I drove to one of our partners, Dayla with Rich with Attitude. She has a partnership with Baby to Baby. So I said, let's fill our van. Let's fill it to the roof with supplies. And then we took it out, and I was called. I am a woman of God, and I feel like my steps were ordered to go to Altadena, Pasadena area. So we went out there. We met with multiple leaders and organizers, and we rolled up our sleeves and started just helping. And that point, this was minutes after the fire. So I'm talking to multiple families that have just lost everything but the clothes on their back. And so I said, who should we call?
Yeah, it
So
gives
I
me
called
chills to this
Elof.
day. We were in the car, and she said, we got to call the change reaction.
Because I knew that Greg, something was coming. And so I called Elof and I said, hey, let me know when there's a plan. We're ready. We're on standby. And then from there, she said we got the green light, and they were doing a check distribution. And so Stand With LA was born. It's a coalition of 3 nonprofits, and we are all coming together. We had to do it quick to mobilize quick because we knew the more amount of families that we were able to get on our list, the more would have a check and be impacted. So I think between our team, you have the numbers.
Yeah, we had about 180 that we signed up within a day, about 10 hours on site at Pasadena Church locally, face-to-face, hearing their stories, crying with them, praying with them, truly outreach on the ground. Qualifying them, understanding what they lost, generational loss, defining their lives, their professions. A lot of seniors, people whose lives were truly lost, and just trying to understand what we could do to help, trying to gather as much information to provide Greg and the Change Reaction to say, here's what we know. What can we do?
It's amazing the work that you've been doing in your community, outside your community. Real quick before we wrap up this segment, what's the one thing that you're most proud of? And you've been doing so many things. You've got so much to be proud of. What's the one thing you're most proud of creating here?
I think right now in this moment is this. I think the fires. I think I am so, I'm determined and I'm committed to these families. It's not just about, and I think Greg said this at one point, it's not just the check. It's about, and Jess just also spoke on it, being their support, creating these relationships with these families, and it's ongoing. And we told them we are in this for the long haul. We have pushed all of us have pushed our stuff aside in order to wrap our arms around these families.
It's incredible. If people want to find out more about ROC Era or Stand With LA, where do they find you on social media?
ROC Era is at r.o.c_ERA. Stand With LA is just that, at Stand With LA.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing a little bit of your story. Thank you for the work that you're doing for your community and for the city of Los Angeles and for Altadena and everybody else. And Greg, thank you for being here. Can you stick around? I want to talk a little bit about our fire relief efforts at the Change Reaction, pick up a little bit of the thread that Auri was talking about. Can you stay for the rest of the show?
Yeah, I'd love to.
All right.
Okay. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
You are listening to Change Reaction Radio, the Change Reaction Radio podcast. It's all happening on 790 KABC.